Today, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman took the stage to present her 7th consecutive union budget for the fiscal year 25. With this impressive milestone, she broke the record of former Prime Minister Morarji Desai, who delivered 6 budgets during his tenure. This presentation was the first full budget of the third term of the Modi-led NDA government. The budget focused on 9 key priorities to create abundant opportunities for everyone. But we will first discuss about the changes in the tax rates and what exactly do these changes mean for you. So, if you are an investor, the new budget has some important updates. Short-term gains on financial assets have been increased from 15 to 20% tax rate, while long-term gains on all the financial and non-financial assets have been hiked to 12.5% from 10%. But there's a good news as well. The exemption limit for long-term capital gains has been increased from rupees 1 lakh to rupees 1.25 lakh per year, so you can enjoy more tax-free earnings. Now, before we move on to the next topic, let's understand the tax implication of STCG and LTCG. Now, when it comes to securities transactions, tax rate you pay is based on the law in effect during the financial year in which you realize the gains. It doesn't matter when you bought the securities. Here's how it will work now that STCG tax rate has increased to 20%. Before fiscal year 25, the STCG tax rate on the sale of equity shares or equity-oriented mutual funds was 15%. This means that any gains from sales made before fiscal year 25 were taxed at this rate. Starting from fiscal year 25, the STCG tax rate will increase to 20%. So if you sell securities in fiscal year 25 or later, the new STCG tax rate of 20% will apply to your gains regardless of when you purchase the securities. The tax rate at the time of sale determines your tax liability. In short, any gains realized from the sale of securities from fiscal year 25 onwards will be subject to the 20% STCG tax rate even if you bought those securities before fiscal year 25. Now, the abolition of the angel tax is a game changer for startups and new ventures, opening the doors for more innovation and entrepreneurship. And let's not forget the reduction in the corporate tax rate for foreign companies, down from 40% to 35%. This move could make India an even more attractive destination for global businesses looking to invest. Next is the simplified new tax regime. The new tax regime promises savings of up to rupees 17,500 thanks to the revised tax slabs. Here's a quick breakdown. You'll pay 0% for income of up to rupees 3 lakh, 5% for income between rupees 3 lakh and 7 lakh, 10% for income between rupees 7 lakh and 10 lakh, 15% for income between rupees 10 lakh and 12 lakh, 20% for income between rupees 12 lakh and 15 lakh, and finally 30% for income above rupees 15 lakh. And there's more good news for salaried individuals. The standard deduction for new tax regime has been increased from rupees 50,000 to rupees 75,000, which means you can deduct more from your taxable income, potentially lowering your tax liability. Additionally, for pensioners, the deduction on family pension has been raised from rupees 15,000 to rupees 25,000, providing much needed relief to senior citizens navigating retirement on fixed incomes. Now that we have covered taxes, let's look at the other key highlights of the budget. Capital expenditure is a key driver for India's economic growth, which aims to be a 7 trillion economy by 2030. For Union Budget 2024, the government retained rupees 11.11 lakh crore for capital expenditure, which amounts to 3.4% of India's GDP. This announcement did not come as a surprise, as the finance minister had set the stage announcing 11.11 lakh crore rupees package towards capex in the interim budget, which was announced on February 1st. A point to note here is that the capital expenditure has a higher multiplier effect. That is, every rupee 1 spent on capex has a multiplier effect of rupees 2.45 in the immediate year and rupees 3.14 worth of effect in the following years. This is huge and outlines how an initial injection of money into an economy ripples through and creates a multiplier impact on economic growth and employment creation. Fiscal consolidation is also on track. Fiscal deficit is basically the difference between the total income of the government and the total expenditure incurred by it. Finance Minister mentioned that for fiscal year 25, the total receipt or income is estimated at rupees 32.07 lakh crore, while the total expenditure is estimated to be around rupees 48.21 lakh crore. Now, as you notice, there is a shortcoming and a deficit of rupees 16.13 lakh crores, which is equivalent to 4.9% of the GDP. And the government has committed its track for fiscal consolidation. The fiscal deficit has reduced over the years after hitting a peak of 9.9% 5.2% in fiscal year 21. After budgeting for a 5.9% fiscal deficit, the government achieved 5.6% in fiscal year 24, showing its commitment to achieve fiscal consolidation. For fiscal year 25, the government has budgeted 4.9% and ultimately reached the goal of deficit below 4.5% for the following year. Another point to highlight is the allocation towards the states Bihar and Andhra Pradesh, current government's coalition partners. Rupees 15,000 crores has been allocated for Andhra Pradesh capital city development and rupees 26,000 crore for building highways in Bihar. To address flood disasters in Bihar, the government has pledged rupees 11,500 crores. Additionally, there are plans to transform Nalanda into a tourist destination. The budget also includes new power projects of Bihar, notably a 2,400 megawatt power plant costing rupees 21,400. In conclusion, the budget for fiscal year 25 has some mixed news for taxpayers. Short-term and long-term capital gains taxes increased, but the exemption limit for long-term gains has also gone up. The new tax regime offers potential tax savings with revised tax slabs and a higher standard deduction. There has been no change in the capex, and while a fiscal deficit remains, the government shows commitment to consolidation, targeting a deficit below 4.5% in the coming year. Therefore, this budget prioritizes both infrastructure development and fiscal consolidation, with the ultimate impact on the economy to be seen in the coming years. Having said that, this is Aditi Priya signing off.
Investments in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.